Hello, I'm Keith Atclint, and today we're going to be looking at using a bench grinder for offhand grinding and sharpening of a lathe tool, cutting tool. You can't get good results from turning if you've not got your tools in good order. So we're going to be looking at that now. There's various types of tools. We're going to be looking at the high-speed steel cutting tools at the moment. Most of you have probably heard that there's carbide tips and all the fancy things like that. They've got disadvantages. For instance, a carbide tip, although it will cut red hot, it's awkward if you want to make accurate measurements. And if you try to cool it down, because of the expansion, you see, and if you try to cool it down rapidly and flood it with coolant, and when it's red hot, it cracks the carbide tip and you throw it away. So it's no good. What we're going to be looking at now is the high-speed steel cutting tools that's used on most people's home workshop lathes. I've got a selection of them here. These are a standard set. I've got, I bought them as part of the job lot when I was buying some other things, and they were supplied by the manufacturer of this lathe here, which is a Boxford. I don't use these tools very often. In fact, I've never used one because I use standard high-speed steel cutters. Those of you see, well, I'll show you one. I can't show you one. They're in the lathe. The ones I'm using are in the lathe. But this is high-speed steel. It's butt welded onto a mild steel body, where I use a completely different. I can show you one here. Let's have a look. That is high-speed steel, which is 18% tungsten. In fact, those of you who saw a previous video of how to set a lathe tool in the four-way tool post gives you a good example of what that is. So we're going to sharpen one of these anyway, and just to show what happens. First of all, let's have a look at the bench grinder, which we're going to use for offhand grinding and sharpening of the lathe cutting tool. So let's have a look at that. Ooh. There you are. Standard benchtop grinder used for offhand grinding. This particular one's also got a facility with a little drawer here, which is very useful for putting water in, because when you're grinding the tool, it can get hot, and you've not got to let it get discoloured. If it gets too hot, when it gets discoloured, it reaches its lower critical, or in some severe cases, upper critical point, and then if you don't do anything about it, it will soften and anneal itself. So that's no good. So when you get it hot, you dip it in the water. So I'm going to reposition this camera now to get you a better view, so you can see more of the sharpening. Okay, before we commence sharpening, I want you to look at the safety feature on this particular machine. They've got guards here that swivel down to stop the sparks going in your eyes, and one at the other side as well. Now, some machines, they may not have them, especially if they're older ones. So it's essential to use eye protection. What you can do is, these are safety glasses as well, because the shape, well, I use them for reading and doing fine work. They're also got shatterproof lenses, quite expensive. I've got that guard on the machine as well. But for those of you not got it, it's essential you take these precautions. And these are standard type of safety glasses. They're very good. They're relatively inexpensive, but they're essential. You must wear eye protection, folks. You must. But with these, you can use these over existing glasses if you want. I choose not to because I've got protection here and also protection on the machine, which I've just showed you. So I'm going to put these away. I do use them occasionally, and when you're doing machining or anything like that, always use eye protection because it's not very nice. And you've only got two eyes, you know, you've got to look after them. So, well, let's have a look at the grinding of the cutting tool. I'm going to select one from those what I showed you earlier. Okay, this is the cutting tool in question, and you can see clearly that it's seen better days. So we need to regrind it on that surface and that front surface there. So it's not very good. So here we go. I hope you can see it, folks. It's difficult to line up, but you'll get the idea. This grinding machine's also got a work light on, which I think is essential. So if you haven't got a grinder, try to get one with the light on. It will pay dividends. So I'm going to grind this surface here now. Cool it down, stop it getting hot. And you can see you don't have to do much to it because it's much better now. It's not terrifically in bad condition on that face or on the other. The other way is a bit worse. But I don't need to use the rough grinding wheel because this is sufficient. Now when you come to do this front face there, that bit, it's difficult to do it on that side, so that's okay for that cutting face there. So on this we use the front of the wheel, but you make sure you've still got a clearance angle for the cutting surface, for the cutting edge. You do that by tilting, approaching the grinding wheel at an angle. Cool it down. There, and that's all you need to do because it's sharp. It's sharpened that surface up there, as you can see, and also the front edge there for a different turning application. So as far as I'm concerned, this tool is now renovated, and I'm going to switch the machine off. Now here we've got the cutter, reground, ready for action. You'll see also that it's essential to maintain the clearance angles. So the front clearance angle there, as it approaches the workpiece, you can see the difference there. Okay, that's better. And the side clearance at that, well, every angle should have a clearance. Okay, they call them top rakes, side rakes, front clearance angles, and that's another clearance angle. It helps to get rid of the swarf and the chippings, and you can, when you get experience, you can put chip cutters on, grind them on, but from normal workshop use, what I'm showing you is enough for you to get started, and then you can experiment as you go on, and the more you do, the better you get, the better you will be at it, the better you'll get. Okay, so this is I'm happy about that, and I don't want to use it yet anyway, so I put it back in its rack there. And I just want to say a few words about the choice of grinding wheels. Whoops, knocking the camera over. The grinding wheels that are on that grinder, that offhand bench grinder we just used, the general purpose wheels, they're quite a hard grit, but one is smooth and one is a little bit rougher. Today I just used the smooth side because it wasn't too bad. It didn't need a lot of material removal. However, I would say that if you ever have to change a wheel, or if you're going to buy a new grinder, as far as that goes, if you try to get one with an aluminium oxide wheel, which the wheel will have a sort of identification letters on, example WA46IV, it's a code that grinding wheel companies can tell you all about. But the A is like an aluminium oxide wheel. It's quite soft. The harder the wheels on this general grinder here, it's quite a hard grit. It's mainly for removing material and shaping softer materials, like mild steel or something else, taking its sharp edges off. I do use it for the speed cutters. I can manage it okay, but I'd much prefer to have a dedicated aluminium oxide wheel. A softer grit is used to cut the harder materials. So on high-speed steel, which is 18% tungsten, it's really hard when it's been hardened. So you need a softer wheel. So on the harder grit wheels, that's okay if you're using you removing stock from softer materials, and it doesn't clog up as easy on the aluminium oxide wheels. But that's another subject altogether. Don't worry too much about it. If you've got a general bench grinder like that, look, I use it all the time. But if I did want to change the wheel, I would definitely get an aluminium oxide wheel. It's a soft grit and it gives a better results. So also, do not get tempted to use your grinding wheel for shaping other types of metal or mild steel, because it's not a shaper. It's a kind of precision tool. And what happens when you do things like that, it can produce grooves and things in the wheel. If it does that, I can show you how to get rid of that at another video, by using a wheel race, wheel chaser, or a single point industrial diamond mounted on a bar, which you can traverse across, and it's known as crushing the wheel. And you can shape the wheel to different things as well. That is another subject altogether. So we'll look at that another time. On the next video, I'm going to be looking at renovating another useful tool in your workshop, and that is a soft face mallet or hammer, like this one. I was looking at this the other day and I picked it up and I thought, well, I think it's seen better days. See? So if you buy another one of these, I was quoted about £25, something like that, for one of these. It occurred to me that you can get inserts for these, so that's definitely seen better days and a lot of use. So instead of throwing it away, I'm going to attempt to renovate that surface. Okay, you can get new parts for these, new anvils, as it were, and that's a type of rubber one. That's more of a nylon material, but they cost about £9.50 each or something like that. I don't like spending that kind of money unnecessarily, so I think that we can renovate that by taking it off and resurfacing it on the centre lathe, this one here. So watch out for the next video, and if you've got things in that bad condition. Pay to look at it. I'll show you how to machine it. It'll be done live. All my videos are live. I never edit my videos, so you know if things do go wrong, sometimes they could do. You'll see it, but try to be careful so they don't go wrong and give you the best viewing experience that's possible. However, check into it. Look out my next video, and if you did like my videos, this one or any, please give it a like. And to make sure you don't miss any others, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and you'll be notified, and you won't miss things like this and other items that we'll be loading up. Okay then, so that's all for today. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something and I hope it's been useful. See you again next time. Okay, bye. Yeah, bye for now, and remember, happy turning.